So I'm a director at Indycube. We're a cooperative. We operate co-working spaces across the UK, mostly in Wales, but also in England as well. I tend to do a little bit of everything, but mostly my job involves writing the content, so the blog and the newsletter, kind of reaching out to people. Writing is obviously a big part of what I do, and it's great that I get to kind of write for my work and engage with our members and tell their stories, and then also go and write my own things.
Spiralling darkness, then the boundless black blue of bruises. A seahorse pummeled by your crown and brawn, I am thrust and currented. Awed, I cast myself deep. No more a fish gutted on an arrow's edge, a spear-headed siren, Neptune's shirker. Curled seashells rock on a spindle, trumpeting the helical passage until I am dragged, kicking and bucking to your side. Will you call me Vanilla, your paradre? Will you call me Salacia and damn me with your gaze? Your golden band appalls me, folded about this finger, swollen and salted as a womb-pickled baby. The sea opens her gills. Her foam adornments pucker and roll. She bellows her lungs, rages, her furious vocals whipped as the cracked bow of a ship. They are mine.
So the title poem in the collection is called Salacia, and it's about the Roman goddess of the sea who was married to Neptune. As the story goes, Salacia was so awed by Neptune that she fled from him. She didn't want to marry him, and he kind of chased her down and brought her back. He was grieving, and so the poem really is just about that. It's kind of taking that story but putting it from her point of view. And that kind of follows on throughout the whole collection. So the reason I decided to name the collection after that poem is because there are a lot of poems in it about kind of women and different marginalised voices. So there's one about Blodeuwedd from the Mabinogi. There's one about Gwen Ellis, who was the first woman hung for witchcraft in Wales. There's another one about Curly's wife in Of Mice and Men, who is actually nameless. The poem's called Jailbait. There's also a lot of elements of the sea, which is partly why I went with the title also. The sea kind of runs throughout the whole collection. The sea is really, really important to me. I love living by the sea. I can't imagine being away from the sea. There's a lot of poems in the collection about mental health as well. That's one of the kind of primary factors of my writing. It's kind of catharsis for me, and I'm really interested in kind of opening up a conversation about mental health. So there's poems in here about anxiety and depression kind of coming back when you thought that you'd beaten them. There's poems about medication. There's poems about OCD. There's poems about grief as well. There's a lot of mythology, a lot of the landscape, Welsh mythology, Roman mythology, a little bit of everything, and all kind of centred in along the Welsh coastline. Indycube's staff work a 4-day working week. That works really well for us. We don't think we're any less productive because of it. In fact, I'd say we're more productive. We think everyone should be able to work a 4-day working week. Generally, that currently only applies to employed people, but we think it needs to extend to the self-employed also. So we're massive kind of supporters of basic income, which is essentially a scheme in which everyone in the UK would be entitled to a stipend, a monthly stipend, and to be able to use that to go and do whatever they want to do. So we think that means that more people would be able to set up their own businesses, more people would have the kind of financial viability to go and set up their own businesses. So the book launched officially in Cardiff Book Festival at the beginning of September. So that was really exciting. It's available to buy now. And, you know, that's a big achievement that I potentially wouldn't have managed without the possibility of a 4-day working week. So I acknowledge I'm really lucky to have been able to do that.